Hi, welcome to Talking Text. Our passage is Luke chapter 2 and from verse 49. And he said to them, "Why were you looking for me? Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house?" And they did not understand the saying that he spoke to them. And he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was submissive to them. And his mother treasured up all these things in her heart. Mary and Joseph find Jesus at the temple after a distressful search for him, and he says, "Why were you looking for me? Did you not know I was to be about my Father's business?" It's like an interruption almost to them. It's been probably 12 years since it is 12 years since they had the angelic encounters and were told about that Jesus would be born, the King. And I wonder if the years had just dulled their senses to the will of God and to the calling of God. Jesus says, "Why didn't you know?" And clearly they didn't know. And perhaps that can happen to us. The years can sort of dull our senses. And Jesus says, no, I must be about my Father's business, the will of God. It was his Father's will that he should actually go to the cross. And that would be at Passover time as well. Maybe he was talking to the teachers of the law about the sacrifice, what it meant, the forgiveness of sins. But Jesus would follow the Father's will, obey the Father's will, and come back to Jerusalem at the feast of the Passover to be the sacrifice for sins once and for all. And so Jesus here breaking back into Mary's life and saying, no, the will of God is what I'm called to be on about. And perhaps God is graciously breaking into your circumstance afresh and saying, remember my will, remember the will of God, remember the will of the Father. It says even in this they still didn't understand, and it says they didn't understand what he was saying to them. And that's okay. Sometimes we can't always see every angle. We don't understand all that God is doing. Mary and Joseph have obviously got to look back in history after the resurrection and go, wow, God, I see that what you were doing was way cleverer than what we were thinking of, what we were trying to do. God's will is always far better, far more well planned, far more worked out, far more good for us, but ultimately far more glorious for Jesus and for him than anything we can plan. May God graciously interrupt us with his will. And it says, even at the end of this chapter, it says, yet Jesus went back with them to Nazareth and submitted to them. I find that an amazing verse, that Jesus, the ruler of the universe, who needed no wisdom, no counsel, no instruction, went and submitted himself to human parents. I wonder if you can think about that for a moment. And how much does that help us, give us courage to know that we can submit not only to God, but to others who might be above us or leading us or helping us or alongside us. Submission is easy when we think about how Jesus submitted himself to earthly parents. What a great picture. But I want to encourage you try not to be astonished as they were, but rather try to relax into the peace of God and enjoy being in God's will. Thanks for letting the text talk.